like a beginner puffin this time with watercolour. This photograph is from Phil Robson, courtesy of Phil Robson. Thank you very much, Phil. I am going to start by drawing out some circles for the body. I can then follow that one circle, bring that one back a little bit. It's easier if you can do many circles and then choose the one you want. You've got a little shape for the neck. What I'm doing is I'm referencing the shapes I can see rather than thinking I know what a puffin's head looks like. So I'm doing the black of the neck in a shape, then the black of the top of the head in a shape, just working shapes, and then I'm going to bring that shape down here, so that's the white shape, and then I've got a beak, and then I'm just focusing on the shape. It doesn't have to be exact. Every little puffin has its own character. It's just about making your puffin. Follow the shape again. So this is that black bit, and there's that little orange bit just there, and then the character of a puffin is that triangle shaped eye. I'm going to leave a little bit of light in there. You can adjust, so if you look and think, oh, my puffin looks a little bit too fat, you can make him a bit thinner. If you think is the opposite way, just adjust. You're never going to get it right first time. You see now I'm adjusting, just adjusting that shape a little bit. Making the head a little bit bigger. And I've got a cute puffin character here now. So I have got a small bit of Saunders Waterford, 5 by 7 inches. I have got my trusty Cotman palette, which I will link in the description. It's always good if you're using a pan palette to activate your colours. I'm using a little water spritzer just to get them going. And we're just going to do something that's lots of fun. So I've got a round number 10, a round number 6 and a rigger. I tend to stick with 3 brushes. If you have other brushes, you can use them. I try to make it as easy as possible when you're starting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is wet everywhere to start with. You can take some of your darker lines out. I quite like the movement. I'm going to avoid the eye, and I am going to avoid the beak, just so I keep those nice and crisp. This is my round number 10. I'm applying a layer of water. I'm not being overly precise about it. I want to get some undercolours on here and a little bit of movement. So the first colour I'm going to start with is a little bit of cerulean blue, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of shadow. So I'm thinking about where the shadow is on the white, and that's a really nice colour to use. I can use some of this blue within the black areas as well. It's always quite nice. I can take some of this blue a little bit further out. If you want movement, those little direction lines are great for that. So we can add some little direction lines like that, little wisps. This colour here is Purple Lake. You could use rose, you could use alizarin. Getting some little wisps of directional colour in here. Avoiding that beak. Because I'm dabbing into neat paint, it's not really flowing too far, which is quite useful. I don't want it to flow too far at this stage. I'm going to take a little bit of that purple in here. It's quite nice to reflect the colours that you've got in the background. I'm going to take in, this is lemon yellow, so I'm just going to dash in a little bit of lemon yellow just to lift it. What you don't want to do is go back and forth, back and forth. You want that to just stay put, otherwise you're going to be mixing on the paper. Lemon yellow is a bit more opaque, so it's gone over the top nicely there. Okay, I'm going to drop down to my round number 6. We're going to get some black on. So this is still nice and wet. Round number 6 is going to put me in a little bit more in control. This is ivory black. If you are using Payne's grey, it will be a bit more shooty, so you've got to be a bit more aware of how you're applying it, and probably dab off on some kitchen towel. You can make your own black using burnt umber and ultramarine, and that's a really nice way to do it. So I'm coming into the darkest area first, bring that in, and then I'm going to bring some in here, just showing you how simple a puffin can be and how much fun it is as well. Bring this round. We're going to get a nice sort of fuzzy effect because we're coming in when it's wet, and that's going to make our puffin even cuter. Bring in some little bits here. I'm following the direction of the chest, and I'm leaving some gaps of white. And take a little bit down this edge. The cotton paper just gives you more time. If you're on a wood pulp paper, you've just got to move a lot quicker. I'm just darkening up a couple of areas with a bit thicker black. Then if I just dab into some water and take some of that off, dab into some water again, I can just lighten that black, and I can just put in a few movement strokes to create those lovely wispy feathers and shadow on there. Not doing too much, I want to keep the white, and I like the background, it's nice and fun. Okay, I'm going to dry this one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I'm going to make sure we've got a nice clean brush now. We need to make an orange, so I'm going to use some cadmium red and a little bit of cadmium yellow. You might have cadmium orange, that would work perfectly well as well. If you don't have cadmium red, you could use rose and some yellow, that would work. It's just finding really what you've got to work with. So I'm going to come on. This is on to dry with my round number 6, and I am going to create that lovely shape of the beak. So we're going to do the top bit and the bottom bit. We can try and leave a really fine white line in between, a dry line, because that just gives you that definition. I'm going to bring a little bit down here. If I dip into a little bit of rose or a little bit of cadmium red, whilst that's still damp, I can just darken it up in places. So I've not rinsed my brush in between, just add in a little bit more, and you can bring some of that through so it's a bit darker. And I can take some of this into the eye, colours within the eye here. Rinse that brush off. I'm just going to dip into that yellow. That's the cadmium yellow coming into that cheek. I'm going to take a little bit of the cadmium yellow just around that edge like that. So I'm just building that up gradually. Still with my number 6, I try to use the biggest brush possible. I've come back into that ivory black. It can be Payne's grey. I'm doing that little line there. It's quite nice if you can do this before it totally dries, because then you've got a little bit of softness there. And then the ivory black within that beak, trying to leave that fine white line in between as well. So you've got that lovely shape. Just dip into a little bit of water and the ivory black again. And what I'm going to do is just sharpen a couple of lines. So I'm going to bring a line at the top here, line at the back here. I'm not coming right the way to the fuzziness. I'm keeping the fuzziness there. I like the fuzziness, that's the fun part. I'm quite careful with my number 6 so I can do a fine line like this. But if you want to swap down to a smaller brush, you can do. Then I'm going to swap down to my rigger, which is my long thin brush. And what I'm going to do is pop a little bit of black in to the pupil, and I'm going to try and keep, now in the photograph there isn't any white in here, I'm going to try and keep a little bit of white. So that little highlight of white in the eye I think is really important. I'll bring a little bit of that up here, the line underneath, and bring that line down so they get a really nice eye in there. The smaller you can get that highlight, the more realistic the puffin will look. Now I'm coming in with some cadmium red. I'm just going to bold up a couple of lines on the beak. This is with the rigger. I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I've actually got a soft wash brush here, and what I want to do is just pull out some of the background and make it a bit darker. So because I'm using a cotton paper, I can do this and come over. So I'm coming basically around the puffin with the water. That layer is nicely dried, so it's not going to move, and I'm being very careful and delicate on the surface. And I've come all the way around the puffin, and this is just to show you how you can add an additional colour. So this is Viridian. Viridian is a very bright emerald green, and what I'm going to do is add some Chinese white into it to make a lovely turquoise. If you've not done this before, get this ready before you start. Then what I'm going to do is, with my round number 10, is just drop some little bits in. You don't have to go everywhere, but as soon as you get this in, you get a real definition and sharpness. And pop a few strokes in here, and it's going to really pop the puffin out. You can come all the way round if you want to. I tend to prefer to just do little bits. Really nice to get that orange and green, because they're complementary colours there, that reddy orange green, and that's going to really pop that out. And then I can do a little bit. So this is teaching you how to make a turquoise that's really easy. How to paint something negatively in the background to bring it out in the foreground. And I'm still going to just pop some movement strokes, and this is called layering as well, because we're putting 2 layers on, so you're going to see those colours underneath. It's quite nice if you do a couple of little dashes of that same turquoise on the body, just to bring it all together. A little dash there as well. Okay, I'll dry that one off. So there we go, that's all finished. A super simple, cute, easy puffin for you to have a go at. It's when you move into animals from landscapes, it can be quite difficult. So these simple exercises really help. I've got a few on animals. I'll pop another video here and a playlist here for you. Do look for my Facebook group. The link is in the description. You can pop your results on and I'll give you some personalised feedback. See you next time.